Hello everybody, my name is Jonathan and welcome to Barely Unboxed. Today we are back with a Marvel Legends video. I absolutely love Marvel Legends. I collect mostly X-Men characters with a few other Marvel characters here and there. It's International Women's Month this month and today's the last day of March, so I thought let's do a Women of X video. So I realized I also had all of these female X-Men character figures recently, and I haven't opened them yet. And so I was like, okay, we're going to have some fun opening these up and adding them to my collection. I'll put some pictures here. I have a whole collection in like a glass case. It's like one of the few collections that I have enclosed in like a glass case, and I don't know, it was one of my first things that I started collecting probably a good 10 years ago, and I still have so many of them in storage that I just don't have room for. A lot of non-X-Men characters and a lot of X-Men characters, but these are some recent ones that have come out and I have to add them in there. I'll find room, I'll make room. But we also have this awesome retro action figure of Penance from Generation X. Now these are from Toy Biz. I picked this up at a collectible toy shop that also sold like some comics and some trading cards, but it was mostly toys. And I found this in Ohio when I visited last year to see my family and my friends, and I love this store. Luckily, I kept the business card for the store, and this is it. It says Roma Collectibles, your one-stop shop for vintage 80s and 90s G.I. Joes, but they have way, way more than that. And this was just like a really cool card that they came up with. It's like a ticket to a concert. So I thought that was pretty cool. The store is located in Springfield, Ohio, and if you live locally or even anywhere nearby Springfield, Ohio, check it out. It's actually a really cool store, and the owner seemed like a really nice guy. Most of the prices were really good. As you can see, I got this for $6. And it's still in the package, but we're going to open it today because I had this figure when I was a kid. I used to collect all the X-Men Toy Biz figures, and Generation X was absolutely one of my most favorite comic books to ever come out because I was actually the same age as all the characters in the comic. And we also have Marvel's Husk, which is also a Generation X character, and she is really cool. This is part of the Build-A-Figure from Marvel's Nemesis, and you can see you get his torso with his head. I did order all of these, even the Wolverine one, even though he doesn't come with a part, and we're going to take a look at all of those in a future video. I'm still waiting on a couple of them to arrive. But I also have the Marrow that's from that same line. Marrow is another one of my absolute favorite characters to ever come out of Marvel. I think she's so cool. In fact, I even made a custom action figure of her from Toy Biz Figures when I was a teenager. And I wish I still had it because it was a really cool figure. Alright, so I think to start, we are going to take a look at this Penance figure because I just think she's so cool. She was such a cool character. Here's the back of the package, and you can see there is a cross sale for all the other Generation X characters that you could get. I think I had all of these. And then there's the X-Men 2099 figures as well, which was... It wasn't actually a comic I read very much, but I did have this red guy, this Bloodhawk guy. He was really cool. So here's a little blurb about Penance. She basically has diamond hard razor sharp skin, and you can't even touch her without hurting yourself. And she even has an action feature and everything. So let's get her out of here. It's so weird to open an old toy, especially one that you already had at some point. And, you know, I got rid of a lot of my figures from back then. So it came off of the card really, really well. And you can kind of still see some of the artwork. And all this artwork that you can see here is done by the same artist that did the artwork here. And that is Chris Bocciolo, believe is how you pronounce his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's one of my favorite artists. I absolutely loved his work in X-Men comics. So here is Penance. She's super cool. The one thing I always thought about this figure, though, is I thought her head looked too small for the body. But I think that's just, you know, one of the things that happened back then is figures were kind of, you know, they were not as detailed as they are these days, that's for sure. So she comes with a stand, which is really uncommon for an action figure from back in that day. Although I think there was a time when they did come with these. And look how shiny and new that looks. It's so pretty. Here is the figure up close. And the other thing about her is her hair and face are supposed to be the same color as this, but it's painted plastic instead of molded. So it is slightly a different color. And they used to call her Penny. And then you can do this. There's a little lever in the back. And she can go like that. Which I love that about old school action figures. And then she has these like pieces that you can like pop on her. Because she was like, in the comics, she was held captive by Emplet, who I believe was like her brother. And he used his psychic energy vampire powers on her, and she formed this diamond skin to help protect herself from him. And there's a lot more to this character. She has sisters, and there was some mistaken identity among the characters. Someone was not who they said they were. All kinds of, you know, comic book type stuff. And I could sit here and talk about comic books all day, but I won't because I don't want to bore you. So she has these parts right here. I may have put them on the wrong arms, but you're supposed to like be able to connect these. They don't stay together very well though. And then you can act like she's breaking out of her shackles. So that is her. And then she does have 2 holes in the bottom of her feet, in both feet, so that you can get her on the stand. So there she is. That's awesome. She's going to be part of my retro X-Men collection, which I do have down in my art studio. I have like a little shelf full of retro X-Men action figures. All right, so I think since we started with her, we'll go right into Husk. So Husk is such an interesting character. She can rip her skin off, and she'll have a different power underneath that. And it shows her doing that here. And the power always kind of like is pertinent, or, you know, it fits with what she needs for that moment. Like her powers just manifest that way. And I think that is such a really cool thing. So this is my first time opening one of these new packages for Marvel Legends that come like this. Normally, they would come like this, with the hang tag made out of the cardboard, and it's kind of a weird shape to the plastic and the box, but then these are very square now. But they're generally the same size of packaging. But this one has like a plastic hang tag, which I find weird that they added a plastic hang tag when cardboard is far better for the environment, but whatever. For a while, these were coming in boxes that you could not see inside of, and it was causing so many issues with people stealing the figures and returning them, so they've switched to this. Alright, so here is the back. I showed that earlier, but here's the other figures in this wave. I am waiting for Cyclops and Nightcrawler. I got all the other ones already. I don't know why it's taking so long for those two, but they're back ordered, I think. So it does have a little blurb about her. This is Paige Guthrie, a mutant with the ability to morph her skin into any form, and she's a member of X-Men, I think, now, but I think she was like a teacher for some point, and she was dating the Blob. But this is a version of her when she was part of Generation X. She's got the Generation X costume. You can even see they both have the same kind of belt on, even though this is an older figure. And, you know, it would be fun to put these next to each other, but I think Penny is a little small. So these just open. There's some tape on the bottom. Oh, and on the bottom also is the barcode if you want to look for her. I did order these from, I think it was Entertainment Earth. They also have them at Big Bad Toy Store, and you could also order them from Marvel or from Hasbro Pulse directly. Alright, so I love these boxes. It has like comic book panels behind the plastic, which is really cool. That might come in handy for like pictures if you want. It does have a little pamphlet about warnings and other information. Not real important, really, as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so this has two parts. We have Husk here, and then we also have the Nemesis parts, which I'll just show these real quick because we're not really looking at that today, but that is a pretty awesome head, and it looks like the skull mouth does open and close, so that's pretty cool. But I'll have a full review of this Build-A-Figure when I get the other two figures. I'll do another video. I'll even have Husk come back for it so that we can take a look at all the wave together. But for now, I'm actually I think I'm gonna plop this back in the box after I get her out of this plastic. Alright, here is Husk right out of her packaging. I will say her face isn't too bad, but she looks very disgusted to me. Like, she just does not look happy. But, you know, I guess if that was my mutant power, ripping my skin off, I probably wouldn't be very happy either. I think it actually, if I remember right, it kind of hurt every time she would do it. But the detail on this figure is great. Here's the back of her. And her hair is pretty rubbery, so you can actually get her hair to kind of move out of the way when you're posing her head. It's not bad. And the arm bracers even have little X's on both sides. And then she has the little X zipper pull right here, which is molded in. And then the belt is like a separate piece that just kind of sits there. And then she even has the boots, which all look really good. And as far as articulation goes, she's pinless. She has no pins in her joints. So she has the double jointed knee that can do that. It can't really bend up much more, I guess. Okay, there we go. It was just stuck. So that can bend up like that. Her foot is on like a swivel, and it can go up and down. And then she has the upper thigh joint, and then the leg joints. And then she has a kind of a waist joint right below her chest. And then she has the ball jointed shoulder, which also just popped out, which I think is fine. It should just go right back in. I've never had that happen with a figure other than a Build-A-Figure. Okay. All right. So she does have the joint here on the upper bicep that spins, and then she also has the double jointed elbows. And then her hands are on like they can turn, and they have a joint that goes up and down on both hands. And then obviously her head is on a ball joint, so you can move it around. But there is a little bit of restriction because of just the way that she is built. So the shoulder pads seem to be kind of like this separate piece, and it's what's causing the arm to kind of pop out. So I'm trying to get it to pop back in. So I think I got it. All right, so here's her alternate head sculpt, where she's ripped her skin off, and underneath she has like metal skin or like mercury or something. This is a really fabulous looking sculpt on this. It looks so good. I'm probably going to put that head on. And then she does come with alternate hands. One is a fist, and one of them is like a claw. So it's the opposite of what she already has. So basically the fist replaces that open hand, and this open hand can replace that fist. And then she has like a little piece of skin that she's ripped off. So let's try that out and pop her head off. Hopefully it comes off easily. That came off really, really well. Now let's see if we can get this other one on. All right. That came off easily and went right back on. So then you can take this skin that she's ripped off and like put it in her hand. Like that. That's pretty cool. She looks like she's screaming. It probably was a little painful. It seems like such a painful power to have. All right, so there we have her. Oh, she dropped her skin. Such a weird thing. Okay, we'll put her next to Penny, and you can see the size difference actually isn't too bad considering Penny is leaned over. So, you know, they kind of do, like I could totally put this Penance figure with my Generation X figures, because I do have a couple others. I have M, and I have the White Queen, and I also have Chamber. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I have room for Penance to go in there. So, all right. So, the next one we'll look at is another one from that same Nemesis Build-A-Figure. This comes with one of his arms and his hand. This is Marrow. I love Marrow. I think she's such a cool character. There's her artwork. Back. And it does have a blurb about her. She was once a member of the Morlocks, a community of outcasted mutants. Marrow has the ability to manipulate bone growth. And I remember in the comics, she was kind of like the leader of the Morlocks. And Storm, like previously, Storm had beat the leader of the Morlocks, Callisto, and became the leader of the Morlocks herself. And the same thing kind of happened again. She fought Marrow. I think if I remember right, she ripped her heart out. But Marrow has 2 hearts. I think originally her character could just grow different body parts if she needed to. And she was also a lot different looking. She had bones sticking out of her head. She was more grotesque. But then she joined the X-Men because of Storm's help, I believe. And then she kind of adopted this new look. So I love this character so much. There is her barcode. So let's get her out of here. Here she is, still in the box, or still in the plastic, I mean. And there is Nemesis' arm, but I'm going to leave that in there until I do the full video for him. All right, here is Marrow out of her packaging. She has a really nicely sculpted face. I love the way they did that. And she does have the short hair. And look at the back where she has like bones growing through her costume. Even the spine is growing through. And there's the back of her legs. This is sculpted really well. It has metallic gold details. Now, she also is on the pinless body. And so she has no visible pins for her joints. And look at the knee, the way that bends with the bone. That is really cool. And the bones on both knees are slightly different. That's also really neat. She has all the same articulation as the Husk figure. She even has that upper chest. And because she doesn't have long hair, you can get a lot more range of motion with her than you could with Husk. She has like a really good range with her head. So, very cool. I would have loved it if these bones in her back could come out, because that's how she would do it in the comics. She would rip a bone out of her back and use it as a weapon. And I am glad that they gave her 2 bone weapons. So we can give that to her. And both hands that she comes with in the box are gripping hands. So she can hold these right out of the box. You don't have to switch out any of the hands. So there's that. But she does come with alternate hands. She has like this flat hand for her right hand. And then she has this fist for her left hand, which is nice to have those. I mean, I love it when we get all alternate heads. So I would have loved to have an alternate head with the bones sticking out. That would have been perfect. In fact, no hand. Just don't give us hands for her. Just give us the alternate head. That would be awesome. I'm sure someone out there will make a custom head for her that will fit this, which would be really cool. But she has a hard time holding on to this weapon a little bit. There we go. I think it was just the thumb wasn't quite wrapped around it. So that's her. And then you can change out the hands on these. It's very easy. I'll show you real quick. So you just pop that hand out, and then these ones have the little extra thing. You can actually take that off if you want to, but it's the cuff for like the gloves that she's wearing, and then you just put the other hand back in, just like that. So you can make it look like she's pulling the bone out of her back, like that. It's kind of cool. All right. So we'll leave that hand in there for now, and then let's see if we can get her to stand. She's definitely not very top heavy because she doesn't have hair, which is really nice. So there we go. All right, I think next we are going to look at this Wolfsbane. This is from the Marvel's Zabu Build-A-Figure wave. This is Wolfsbane. She's in her X Factor outfit, I believe. I think she was part of X Factor. Yes, because it shows her here with Multiple Man. He's part of X Factor. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's Strongman's hand. I love this artwork of her. She was a member of the New Mutants, and she trained with Professor X to master her powers of lycanthropy, which she can turn from a human all the way into a wolf, and somewhere in between, which is what this figure is, which I always thought was really, really cool. And when she's a full wolf, she can actually communicate with other actual wolves, and that would happen, I think, in the comics, if I remember right. Her name is Rain Sinclair, and she is, I believe, Scottish. And she was brought up very religiously, and she always thought that she was a demon because her church, or she was a Catholic, the priest would not be very nice to her, and her family wouldn't be very nice to her. And so she had to fight and deal with that her whole life. And I just think her character's development in the comics was always really, really neat. All right, so here's the back with the other figures. I wanted to get this Cable, and I kind of missed out. And I did want to get this this figure of Kazar, because I also wanted to build Zabu, which is Kazar's cat, and he's like an X-Men adjacent character. He's part of the Savage Land, and I really wanted the two of them, but I didn't really want to have to buy all these other figures. I didn't really want the Red... Is it Red Widow? Yeah, I didn't want Red Widow. I didn't really want Icarus, and I didn't really want Black Winter Thor. But if I ever find them like on a good deal, I would pick them up. I do still want to get this Cable, though. He is like one of the most perfect versions of Cable I've ever seen. He's like the X-Force Cable, and that's what I need to build my X-Force team up. So this just opens up on the side instead of the bottom because it's the old school, and then that slides right out. And as you can see, we get Zabu's body. So I will hold on to that, and hopefully I can get Zabu down the line like all the rest of the figures. And before I forget, which I almost did, this is the barcode for Wolfsbane. Totally forgot to show that. And here she is right out of her packaging. She has some really nice paint detail to her. The tufts on the back of her legs and her arms are painted a slightly different color to match the color on her head hair. And she only comes with the one head, and she looks very angry, or very feral. Not to confuse her with the character named Feral, who looked almost exactly like her, but had a different color scheme. And a tail. I think she was more of a cat, a wild cat. So this one's also pinless. It's awesome, and it has the same articulation as the other two figures, but she doesn't get as much with this leg because of the fur on the back of the bottom. And then she does have the ankle just like the others. Her joints are a little stiff, and I'm trying not to break them. But I do want to see if I can get her into like a crouching stance. I think that would be really cool. She has the upper chest joint as well. And then because she has the short hair, you can get a lot of range of motion with her head. She's a really, really nice looking figure. The detail on the outfit is really nice. They painted the zipper, and then she has the X. Very cool. She also comes with 2 fist hands, but honestly, I probably won't give her those because I like the claw looking hands a lot better. It's more Wolfsbane looking to me. It looks like she's very, she's ready to attack. So, let's see if I can get her in like a really neat pose. So there we go. We got her sort of in like kind of a feral looking attacking type pose. It's not bad. She doesn't want to stay though. There we go. Very cool. One of probably my favorite figures so far that's come out of this character, because there is another version of her, and I do have that one. I forgot. I was gonna grab it out of my case, but there was a figure. I'll just put some pictures. It was a figure set that was only at Walgreens, where you could swap the head and the hands out to create 3 different characters from New Mutants. You could create Danny Moonstar, you could create Wolfsbane, and you could create Karma. And the Wolfsbane in that one, unfortunately, her hands and her hair, or her face, her skin color with that lighter brown. On that other one, it is darker, so you cannot swap the heads. And I thought that was really disappointing because I actually like the other head because I can look at her from over here. She's in my case. She has a much nicer, like more pleasant looking face than this really angry looking one, and I was hoping I could swap them in and out, but unfortunately they're not the same skin color, so it would not look right. So, but this one is going to be going with my X Factor set, so the other one's with the New Mutants, so I'll keep them separate. Alright, so we also have this Bloodstorm figure. This is an awesome figure. This is part of the Strange Tales Blackheart Build-A-Figure line. She actually does come with an alternate head and alternate hands. I love that. The other figures in this line are here, and you could build Blackheart, which he's not an X-Men character, but he's really cool. I would have liked to have built him, but I didn't really want all these other figures either. The only other one that maybe I would get would be Moon Knight, just because he's a hero, and I kind of like to build up some of the hero teams. Marvel's Lilith is kind of cool, maybe. And then there's Marvel's Dracula, and then Hellstorm, who is kind of neat, but kind of generic looking. And then, what was that? Brother Voodoo was okay. I don't even know who he is, really, but he kind of cool looking. And then this one didn't have a part, which is a, what is that? Weapon of Vengeance, which is basically Wolverine with the Ghost Rider essence inside him or whatever. Has really cool artwork on the side. This artwork I can't remember the artist, but it was from a alternate reality X Factor team that was all dark related, and it had Bloodstorm as a member. Bloodstorm is a vampire version of Aurora Monroe, aka Storm. And it does say here, a mutant and proficient thief, Aurora Monroe was targeted by Dracula and transformed into a vampire known as Bloodstorm. It was a good comic. It was led by Havoc, and he was from normal reality, and then this was a dark reality that he got transported to, and he was apparently in a relationship with Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen, and they had a team together with Bloodstorm. I love talking about comics, and so this does come with the torso for Blackheart, which, I'll probably hold on to for now. It even has like a bendable tail. How cool is that? But yeah, I'll probably hold on to this, and maybe at some point I'll be able to build it if I can get the other pieces. Sometimes finding the pieces is just hard to do unless you buy the whole figure, and even if you don't want the figure. Here is Bloodstorm out of her packaging, and she looks fantastic, or should I say she looks fang-tastic? I apologize. But she does have pins in her legs, unfortunately, but she doesn't have them in the arms. She has the pinless joints in the arms. I think this was when they started kind of updating things a bit here and there, but they hadn't done it for these legs yet. So she does have the double jointed knees, so she can get some really nice looking like flying poses. I think, like that. You can get her to pose pretty well. She doesn't come with any lightning effects, which is kind of disappointing. I would have loved to have seen that. A lot of Storm figures lately, they're lacking a lightning effect. The same thing happened with the X-Men 97 Storm. She didn't come with any lightning effects. She only came with extra hands. This one at least came with this alternate head, which is slightly different even with the hair. The hair is more slicked back. She's more calm looking, but still looks angry. I think I like the head that's on her body right now, so I'll probably just leave that on. And then she also comes with 2 hands that are more like... I really like the way this hand is posed. That looks really cool. And then that hand's slightly different. So those are like more like lightning hands, whereas these look more like claws, like she's trying to, I don't know, claw someone, which I'm actually going to go ahead and swap that out for this other hand because I think this hand looks so cool. Did I put it on the right? Yeah. There we go. I think that hand looks really, really awesome. Very cool. So that will be Storm. Now, I do have a stand for her. Every once in a while I go and I buy these NECA dynamic figure stands. These are sold at Target, but here's the barcode if you are interested. And these are really great for posing flying characters. So let's get this out of here. It comes with a base. It also comes with an alternate suction cup base, so you can like put it on a wall or a window. Like if you have a display case like I do, you can suction cup that to the wall or even the ceiling because it's all glass all the way around. And then you can kind of hang them down from it. I think it's pretty cool. So this just hooks into here. And then it has this little thing. Oh, almost dropped it. And then it has this little piece here that has a claw. And then you can put the claw like around their leg. Or you can do it around their waist. Whatever way works for the character that you're trying to pose. So there we have Storm floating in the air, which I think that looks pretty cool. So we'll just put her right there. Very cool. And then last figure we have is this Jean Grey Phoenix Force figure. And this one is so deluxe. This one was actually a gift sent to me by a very good friend. I do not remember how much this was when I first saw it come out, but there's the barcode. On the back it has a little blurb about Jean Grey. A cosmic power known as the Phoenix Force fuses with X-Men mutant Jean Grey, becoming a nearly unstoppable force capable of peace or destruction. This figure, like, that looks like a statue. Like those really awesome, fancy, expensive statues. And I think it's just so cool that this is in action figure form. Instead, like, I'm actually excited about this because I think the coolest thing is that you can probably pose this figure or pose the background Phoenix with other Jean Grey figures if you wanted to, because I have multiple versions of the Phoenix. I even have the Dark Phoenix, and this would be an excuse to unbox it. It was a Toys R Us exclusive Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, and Cyclops 2-pack. I'll put a picture here. And I mean, this is old from back when Toys R Us, before they went bankrupt and closed almost all their stores, and now they're kind of back. They're in Macy's here in the U.S. if you can find them. All right, so wow, this has a lot to it. So there's this. These flames look amazing. I am so excited for this. Here's another part of the flame. I think these all hook together. But here is the Phoenix, which does have a posable head. So you can even pose it to the side. That is so freaking cool. Look at that. It really catches the light. Oh, wow. That looks so beautiful on camera. I'm actually getting chills because it's so beautiful. I am such a nerd and I don't care. All right, so it did not seem to come with any instructions on how any of this works. So let's see if I can figure it out. I think... Okay, this goes here. Oh, that just clicked right in. Okay. Oh, shoot. I think I was supposed to put this part in first. God, I hope I can get this out without breaking it. Don't do what I did. I put this piece on, and I realized that I needed to hook it into this piece first. So I had to take my hairdryer to it to soften it up. So I believe this piece hooks into this piece. Let's see if I can't figure out how. Those two pieces kind of hook together. And oh god, that looks so, so beautiful. Alright, and then once you get that in, then you pop this bottom piece in to keep it all together. Okay. There we go. So now it has the stand, and that is to help hold on to her. And then the Phoenix, I believe... How does the Phoenix go on this? Let me show the figure, and then we'll put her in, because I think once I get her in the stand, then we'll figure out where the Phoenix goes in. So here is Jean Grey. I gotta say... I'm not the biggest fan of this face sculpt. Her jaw just looks really weird to me. I don't know, and her eye makeup looks super dark. I don't know, there's something about it. Not a big fan of. So I'm probably going to switch it out with this more like evil looking face. I don't know. The faces that came with the Dark Phoenix figure were, I think, much nicer looking, but she looked way more evil. So this is also on the pinless joint body. So no pins in the arms or in the legs. She does have the sash, which is like kind of like a separate piece. Here's the back of her. And then she has the arm joints that kind of go like back, so you can get some like really, really nice range of motion with her. But all the other joints on her are the same. Now let's trade her head, and let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah, I like that so much better. Looks really cool. You can kind of get her posed like she's using her Phoenix powers. And then let me see if I can get her in here. There's like a little spot for her foot to go into. So like right here, there's like this little notch that her foot goes down inside. And then she just kind of goes right there. And so I think the Phoenix hooks in back here somehow. All right, I think this is how it's supposed to go. That looks pretty good, I guess. It was really hard trying to figure out how this Phoenix slots into the flames. It's still from the back looks a little weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I think that's how it goes. Yeah. And then you can put her foot, her other foot can kind of go down in here if you want. or you can just kind of leave it like free form with her knee like that. I think that is so cool. I love this. The light shining through it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I feel like I need a light to go underneath her, because let me try this flashlight, because look at how cool that looks. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that would be something to think of, like get a little light up base to go on that. And then she does come with a pair of extra hands that are both fists. So I do appreciate all the different hands that you can get for these, or that come with these, I should say. But at the same time, I feel like there's certain hands, like these ones are just perfect. But you do need the fist, you know, if you wanted to like do something else, like pose her without the phoenix maybe. But yeah, that is a really, really cool figure. You could totally put other figures in this base, as long as they have like the same kind of foot. I think, yeah, as long as they have the same kind of foot, you could totally put another figure in this base. It doesn't, there we go. I was gonna say it doesn't quite fit, but yeah. So now we have Marrow Phoenix. That would be cool. I would like to see what Marrow might look like if the Phoenix Force possessed her. We did get to see some of the other X-Men characters at one point. Colossus, Magic, Cyclops, I think it was White Queen, and Namor all had the Phoenix Force, and that was pretty cool. But Jean, I think, is the one that's meant to be with the Phoenix. It's such a perfect pairing. But there you have it. And then, you know, if the Phoenix Force is around, Lilandra can't be far behind. So I have this out-of-box Lilandra figure. This was given to me by the same friend that got me the Phoenix figure, because this came as part of a 2-pack with Brood Wolverine, and I didn't really want Brood Wolverine, and he didn't really want Lilandra, and I did want Lilandra. He went ahead and sent this to me, and I absolutely love this version of Lilandra. They did a head sculpt of Lilandra that came with a Mystique figure a while back. And I took that head and I created my own Lilandra figure from it by getting parts from other Marvel Legends figures. And I did want to show you that and compare it. Now, this Lilandra figure has no pins. She has all the pinless joints in her legs and her elbows. And she has a cape that is attached. I think there's a peg in it. Yeah, there's a peg that pegs it into her back to keep it in place, which is really nice. And I like the sculpt of this cape. It looks really, really cool. And I love that they did the painted detail up here. And then, unfortunately, her staff doesn't have any painted detail. But her body looks great. It has like this very silver metallic plastic. I don't think this is painted silver. This is molded silver plastic, and look how shiny it is. It looks great. All right, so let me grab my version of her. Here is my version of Lilandra that I did. This head came with the Mystique Marvel Legends figure that was from Walgreens. And I was kind of confused because, like, I guess Mystique was pretending to be Lilandra is the whole point of it. But I bought the Silver Sable action figure bot and took her head off that body, and I put Lilandra's head on it, and I painted these details on her outfit. This cape and this staff were part of a Build-A-Figure for Odin, and I cut off one of the plastic medallions and glued it together on this side, painted it red, and called it a day. And then there's also a peg in her back, so the peg from the cape is pegged into it, just like it is on this one. And then I did paint the staff on that. But I just think it's really neat to see these next to each other and how similar the official version of Lilandra is to the one that I made. Now, I did not paint anything on the head, so there is that. The metallic on this body matches this head really well, and I think I found that out online. Someone mentioned it, and I just went ahead and did it. But I finally have an official Lilandra, and I'm kind of sad to say goodbye to my custom Lilandra, but I'll probably put her somewhere else in my collection, just not where I had her before. I always have Lilandra like next to other cosmic beings or Professor X, because Lilandra and Professor X became lovers, and she helped him through a lot. When he was sick, I think he was hurt, and she healed him back. And I just think Lilandra is a cool character, but Lilandra also is the leader of the Shi'ar, and the Phoenix attacked planets and killed them and became under fire by Lilandra, and Jean had to pay for those crimes, even though it was the Phoenix Force that made her do them. I love that about X-Men comics, is how dramatic they can be. I love the character development. I haven't read a lot lately because it's been so hard to keep up. Comic books have become so expensive, and I just don't have the time to read them all as much as I want as well. But I always love delving back into my memories of the comics, especially the X-Men, celebrating all these wonderful characters today, the Women of X. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this little portal into the X-Men world and some facts about the X-Men. I love sharing stuff like that. If I ever get them wrong, I usually try to look it up to make sure that I don't get it wrong. But if I did get anything wrong today, let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know who your favorite character was today. We had a lot of characters to look at today. I think if I had to choose just one favorite from today, I'm going to have to go with Marrow, because she's such a cool character that doesn't get a lot of love or action figures of her. She was also a major character in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and I loved playing as her in those. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely like the video. If you liked it, please leave a comment. Share the video with anyone you think would like to see other X-Men characters, Marvel Legends figures. And take care out there. Love you guys. Bye.